Hi everyone, and welcome to another video about video games with me, Rob, and today we're talking about Atelier Lulua, the Scion of Arland, and that's right, it is pronounced Scion, not Scion or Skyon or however you want to pronounce it. So, without further ado, let's get into this. It's developed by Gust, as usual, and published by Koei Tecmo, as usual, and as usual, I'm going to be waxing lyrical about an Atelier game. So, Atelier Lulua, Scion of Arland, where to begin? Well, let's begin at the beginning with Elmarulia Frixel. Now, if you've played the Arland games, then the surname Frixel should be familiar with you, because it is Rorolina, or Rorona's surname, from Atelier Rorona, and you also, throughout this, will get to meet Meru and Totori as well. You take on the role of Elmarulia, or Lulua to her friends, who is the daughter of Rorona. She's been born and raised in the frontier town of Arklys in the Republic of Arland. Arklys is a frontier town next to a dungeon-esque type place called Felsgalaxen, which only has one level, so Arklys is very sleepy, quiet, very rural town. There's not much going on. The town was set up because they thought everyone was going to want to explore Felsgalaxen, and it was going to turn into a city, but that didn't happen because there was a barrier preventing further entry into Felsgalaxen beyond, say, the first level. So, everything comes to a head for Lulua because she is unsure about her future. She's studying to be an alchemist. She wants to be like her mum, her legendary mum, and so she's one of those characters who's living in the shadow of a great person, and I'm always interested in characters like that. How do they get past that great shadow cast by their parent, or their parents, in fact? You know, how do they strike out on their own? And this is one of those stories where it shows Lulua basically striking out on her own, trying to become somebody who's just as good as her mum. And she has some help along the way, because a strange book called the Alchemy Riddle drops out of nowhere and lands on her head in a very typical anime trope type way. Now, I'm going to leave this there in terms of the story, because the story does get interesting and is actually quite charming and sweet. I'm going to instead talk about the actual game itself, the mechanics of the game, things like that, rather than the story, because I do want to bring this up. Okay, there are some issues, minor issues with the camera. Camera's not the best. That's fine. Because what you have is some great character animation, you have some great reaction animation from the characters. The characters are much more expressive in Atelier Lulua than they've ever been in any of the previous games. Now, if you remember, the previous Atelier game was Nelke and the Legendary Alchemists, which is more of a town-building game and involved a lot of talking head characters, whereas in this, there are virtually no talking heads. You can run up to a person, have a conversation with them, and move on. You don't get the talking heads. And when there is actually a cutscene that involves a conversation, you actually see the characters conversing, which is a real step forward as far as I'm concerned. And in with that, you also get the characters reacting and emotionally reacting as well, showing their emotions now, like depression, anxiety, joy, excitement, things like that. Lulua is a generally happy character. She's a charming, sweet character, whatever you want to call it, but she's also quite kooky and quirky as well. Eva is an interesting character. Oral is an interesting character as well, being from the royal family, or the former royal family, but now being an adventurer. And so you have this mix of characters who all kind of play off each other. The voice acting is very, very good now. There's the Japanese dub, obviously, which I prefer, and it works so much better in terms of the character animation with the Japanese dub. The meat of the game, though, is the exploration and the crafting. Now, the exploration is basically what you'd expect from an Atelier game. It's very light. It's basically light monster battles, things like that. There's nothing too taxing, and there's light exploration and gathering and stuff like that in these areas that you travel to from your map. When you're in town and you're exploring the town, you also have the fast travel bit, which is always there, and that's always handy. The main element of the Atelier games, though, is the crafting, and I have to say, Atelier Lulua has possibly the most developed and well-rounded crafting system I've seen in the Atelier games, and in fact, in most games that involve crafting, Atelier Lulua beats a lot of them hands down. Okay, there is more of a strict adherence to what's called TP. Now, to those who've never played the Atelier games, TP are at points that can be, effectively carried over or assigned to increase the number of traits that you can have, or the variety of traits. Different traits that you can assign to different items and products will cost a certain number of points, and you can increase the number of points with the TP properties. Now, it has a very strict adherence to that, and it also has some interesting and unique ways of approaching problem solving. The reason why I say it's a very deep and complex crafting system is because of the attribute system. Now, you have 4 basic attributes: ice, lightning, earth, and fire. Those 4 attributes you can adapt and refine with other products. So you can take one product that is totally unrelated to a particular recipe, and you can basically make that product in a way that makes it applicable to that recipe, which allows you to do some very outlandish and creative things and really move traits and attributes around in a way that you've not been able to do before. And once you really start exploring the crafting system in Atelier Lulua, be prepared to lose a few hours. And be prepared to just basically go and do gathering quests and basically gather money. Do your requests, because the requests are still there. You'll get them from the Golden Axe in Arklys and the Town Hall in Arles, and also from, I forgot the name of the cafe, in Arland. And you will go to those 3 places, as well as loads of other places in the Republic of Arland. You can do the requests, get the money from hunting various creatures or gathering certain things, and that will give you money to basically pour into crafting, and you will. Now, one of the interesting things about this is that you won't be able to make weapons and other types of armor and equipment, that sort of thing. You'll have to go to the local blacksmith in Arland to have those made. There are certain things that you can make, like accessories and that, but those actual weapons and armor you can't do yourself. That's another aspect where it basically plays into, say, Atelier Eska and Logi, where Logi had a specialty with things like weapons and that, whereas Eska was more the traditional alchemist that we know from the Atelier franchise. And this is kind of playing a little bit with that as well. I like the fact that they've separated the alchemy from the blacksmithing a little bit, and from the food crafting as well, the cooking a little bit. There are bits where they do cross over still, but this is actually an interesting angle that they're playing with the crafting system, and I really like it, and I hope they develop it in future games. Now, was this a welcome return to Arland? Yes. I think I made that very, very clear right at the beginning. I'm going to be waxing lyrical about this game. It is a welcome return to Arland. Yes, there is a bit of a shonky camera at times, but in general, this is a charming, delightful game to play. It's the kind of game where you can take it easy, you can pick up and play whenever you feel like it. There's no rush, there's no fuss, there's no stress. Just sit down and enjoy. I really can't say any more than that. Just enjoy the game. That's all it's there for. It's very light-hearted, it's very charming, it's very cute, it's very sweet, it's got some great characters, it's got an interesting story, it's all tongue-in-cheek, it's all light-hearted, so just enjoy it. This is one of those games that you just play and enjoy. You don't need to stress about it. Yes, there is a quest there underneath everything else, but you can take your time, relax. Anyway, let me know what you thought of Atelier Lulua, the Scion of Arland, in the comments below. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was better than the first 3 Arland games? Did you think it was better than the Mysterious trilogy? That's the big test. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. I am always interested in hearing what other people think of the games that we cover here on The Geek Show. And if you want to see more videos like this one, then hit that subscribe button and I'll see you all on the next video.
ルルア君か。どうだ、私と腕相撲をしていくか。そうか。では本気を超えた私の本気を見せよう。
なんだあの気迫は。立ってるのが
ジョーちゃん、危険だ。あの状態のステレク隊長と戦ったら無事じゃ。
いえ、大丈夫です。ステルクさんがそう来るなら私も。
何？ジョーちゃんの闘気が膨れ上がった？
意地と意地のぶつかり合いってか。
ほう、なかなかやるようだ。だが私はもう負けはしない。
いいえ、勝つのは私です。いざ尋常に
勝負。
私が負けるなんて。
これが限界を超えた私だ。だが君の力はその程度ではないだろう。またかかってくるといい。待っているぞ、ルルア君。